And then he goes on to say, it says, but to each one of us, grace has been given as Christ apportioned it. So to each one of us, grace has been given as Christ apportioned it. This is why it is said, he ascended on high, he led captives in his train, he gave gifts to men. What does he ascended mean except that he also descended to lower earthly regions? He who descended is the very one who ascended high than all the heavens in order to fill the whole universe. And so here's Christ and Paul saying, he says, listen, he gave grace to each one according to how he apportioned it, how he measured it out, how he gave it to them. And to each of us, the grace is a little different. Some of us need a lot more grace than others. We do. Remember, Jesus was talking about with Simon when he was at that Pharisee's house and he had the meal and the prostitute came and washed his feet. And he said to him, hey, there's these guys that had these debtors and one owed a whole bunch and the other one only owed a little bit and they were both forgiven. Which one loved more? He's like, I guess the one, that was forgiven the most. And he's like, yeah. And there are many of us that, need a lot more grace. And then there's many that don't need as much grace, but it's still Christ that gives it, and he gives what we each need. You think of someone that grows up in a Christian home, and they've lived a Christian life their whole life, and they've, followed the Lord from the time they're a child. They don't need as much grace. There's still mercy that's there. There's still glory that's there. There's still blessings that's there. There's still all kinds of stuff. But as far as that grace, because grace is an unmerited favor. It's like we didn't have a righteous life, but he gives it to us. Someone that's lived a criminal life and they've, gone and they've, stole and killed and, all these things. I mean, they need a lot of grace because justice says they should be punished. Grace is the thing that gives them that freedom. And so, but Christ is the one that gives it all, and he gives it according to what we need. And none of us should go, oh, why did they get a different grace than I did? Why did they get a different gift than I did? Why did they get whatever God does, whatever the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit does in our lives? He knows what he's doing. You want to do more for God? Be faithful with what you got, and he's going to bless you with more. Find that place that he has for you. Find that calling he has for you. Don't walk in somebody else's calling. Don't look at somebody else's gifts. Look at what he's put into you. And as you're faithful with what you have and you're faithful with the gifts he's given you, he may give you more. He may give you others. He'll give you blessings. He'll pour things out on you. And it's so cool the way Christ can do that.